Huzzah, Boxing Nation, where boxing lives, breathes, and breaks down. We have a lot to unpack today. A lot of tension between Richardson Hitchins and George Kambosos Jr. at the weigh-in. Eubank Sr. firing shots at promoters, plus Junto Nakatani unifying the division. I'm going to give you a full rundown of massive upcoming fights that could shape the rest of this year. And if you're new here, go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe so you never miss out on an update. Let's break this all down. June 14th, at the Hulu Theater in New York City, Richardson Hitchins versus George Kambosos Jr. is already off the rails. The official weigh-in stare down was canceled last minute. No trash talk, no photos, and no final face-to-face. That's highly unusual for a fight of this magnitude. Some sources say that due to escalating tensions behind the scenes, others hint that the zone and matchroom may have pulled the plug to avoid another physical altercation. Richardson Hitchins, the unbeaten, slick boxer, is known for his counter-punching ability, and he has great footwork and timing. He's been vocal all week calling George Kambosos Jr. a manufactured champ. George Kambosos, on the other hand, is vowing to turn this into a war. He's already dethroned one slick boxer before in Teofimo Lopez, and he believes that Richardson Hitchins is next. And don't forget, Andy Cruz versus Mashiro is on the undercard. So this card is loaded with high value and, just great fights overall. Let me know what you think about all of that in the comments below. Now let's talk about pure controversy. Eubank Sr. is back in headlines and he's ripping into promoters who are trying to make a rematch between Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn. Here's what he said. I believe that he also has reservations about the fact that the first fight with Conor Benn and Eubank Jr. got canceled because Conor Benn had a positive drug test. He doesn't want to see his son cut down to 147 again in order to fight Conor Benn, who's obviously, more comfortable at that weight than Eubank Jr. So now the question is, should Eubank Jr. even take this fight again? Or does he walk away for good? Let me know how you feel about that in the comments below. Is Eubank Sr. protecting his son or blocking another legacy-defining fight? Let me know in the comments again. Now, over in Japan, Junto Nakatani just made a career-defining statement. He scored a 6-round TKO victory over Nishida, unifying the WBC and IBF bantamweight titles. And guess who was ringside? Naoya Inoue, the monster, the man who ruled bantamweight before moving up to dominate 122. Nakatani looked crisp. He had great timing, great range control, precise power shots, and brutal body work. He's tall for the division and he uses it extremely well. This win proves he's not just a hype machine and he's the real deal. Now, could we eventually see Nakatani versus Inoue? It would be Japan's version of Spence versus Crawford. I believe that that's pure fire. Now, boxing is about to take over this summer. And here's your cheat sheet for exactly what's coming. Brian Norman Jr. versus Jin Sasaki in Tokyo for the WBO welterweight title. We have June 27th, Deontay Wilder returns Tyrell Herndon plus Christian Mbelli versus Suleki in Quebec. Then we have June 28th, July 19th, we have Sebastian Fundora versus Tszyu, number 2, super welterweight, of course. Then we have Manny Pacquiao, the legend, versus Mario Barrios for the WBC welterweight title. And then July 19th in London, Alexander Usyk versus Daniel Dubois 2 at Wembley Stadium for the undisputed heavyweight title. And finally, we have Canelo Alvarez versus Terrence Bud Crawford September 13th in Las Vegas. This is a true pound for pound mega fight. This will 100% go down in the books as one of the best fights to ever be put on. So to recap everything, we've got canceled stare downs between Richardson Hitchins and George Kambosos Jr., father and son feuds between Chris Eubank Sr. and Chris Eubank Jr., and a lineup of fights that rivals any year in recent memory. Let me know how you feel about all of this in the comments below. Who wins between Richardson Hitchins and George Kambosos Jr.? Was Chris Eubank Sr. right to speak out? And which fights are you most hyped for this summer? This is ZA Boxing Nation, where champions get analyzed and legends are made. And if you're new here, keep your hands up, and I'll catch you in the next one.